welcome to Learner's Planet students. In the previous session of components of food, we studied about the major food groups, and that were carbohydrates and fats. And in this session we will discuss about other food groups, and that are proteins, vitamins and minerals. So let's start with the session 2 about components of food. Yes, proteins. Students, you know that you need to eat protein, but what is exactly a protein, students? Yes, there are many foods that contain protein, but the best sources of protein are beef, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy products, that are the milk and milk products, then nuts, seeds and legumes like black beans and other kind of beans, and even lentils, that means a leguminous plant, right? So these are some of the foods that are the best sources of protein. As you know that proteins are the building blocks of our body and they help to grow and repair our body, right? So protein in and all builds, maintains and repairs the tissues present in our body, not the tissue which we use to wipe up our nose, right? These are the tissues which are made up of cells. They are present in our body, right? And many tissues combine to form organs, right? So these tissues are repaired and maintained by the protein, right? So there are other things like our muscles, organs and our immune system, and they are also made up mostly of proteins, right? Because they are not, proteins are not needed for our muscles but also for our hair, skin, etc. And protein is the only food source of nitrogen, which is essential to all the plants and animals also, right? So mainly we will now see that how many types of proteins exist actually and what kind of proteins we should consume in our diet. But before we see the types of proteins, let us see that how much important proteins are. Right? So our body uses proteins to make hemoglobin, and it is the part of the red blood cells that carries oxygen to every part of our body, right? So as we know that we breathe in oxygen gas, right? And there is a protein in our body, there is a protein in our blood, that is specifically red blood cells, and it is termed as hemoglobin. So our body uses this protein that is present in the red blood cells and it carries oxygen to every part of our bodies. That means we can say that protein is helpful for us. Protein is helpful in this way, right? This is one such protein, and there are other proteins also that are used to build heart muscle, right? So they are very important for the pumping of our heart. And there are different kinds of proteins like proteins from the animal sources such as meat, milk, and they are called as complete proteins, right? So there are mainly two types of proteins, right? They are complete proteins and incomplete proteins, right? So the animal sources like chicken, fish, soya bean, dairy products are complete proteins because they will form the complete diet. Right? They will provide us with right amount of protein. And there are other plant sources, or we can say as vegetable proteins like grains, seeds, nuts, vegetables, beans. They are termed as incomplete proteins. Why they are termed as incomplete proteins? Because they have a limited amount of protein in them, or we can say that there is the basic unit of protein termed as amino acids, right? So why these proteins are termed as incomplete proteins? Because it lacks one or more amino acids in it, right? So these are complete proteins because They contain all kinds of amino acids in them, and they contain all the amino acids in it, and incomplete proteins are those proteins that lacks one or more amino acids in it, right? So I hope this is clear to you. We saw the introduction to proteins, we saw the importance of proteins and different kinds of proteins, right? As we discussed that there are some other proteins that are used to build muscles, to make our muscles strong, to build heart muscles. So students, whether we are running or just hanging out, protein is doing important work like moving our legs, moving our lungs, and protein also helps us from disease, right? So students, the thing is that if we do not eat proteins, our body will not be able to repair the damaged cells, or it will not be able to build new ones, right? So proteins in our diet come from both animal as well as plant sources, as we discussed and categorized it as complete proteins and incomplete proteins respectively, right? So for example, meat, fish, eggs, milk are animal sources of proteins, and pulses, soya bean, grams and nuts are some plant sources of proteins, right? So for example, we can't get all the amino acids we need from peanuts alone. For example, if we will eat only peanuts, we will not get all the kind of amino acids. But if we have peanut butter on whole grain bread, that means we are complementing both the type of food, right? Then we are all set. In the same way, like for an example, beans. Red beans. Red beans alone do not give us everything we need, do not provide us with each and every amino acid, but beans with rice can complete it. So this can be termed as complete protein. So as long as we have a variety of protein sources throughout the day, our body will grab what it needs by consuming each and every meal, right? So when we eat foods that contain protein, the digestive juices in our stomach and intestine starts working, and they break down the protein in the food into very basic units called as amino acids, which we discussed right now. And so these proteins help us to make our muscles, bones, blood and other body organs. And that is why in our blood there is a very useful protein present called as hemoglobin, right? So I hope you are clear with this major food group called as proteins. Now let's switch on to the other major food group called as vitamins. So students, first of all, we will see that what are vitamins. Yes, vitamins are the natural substances which are found in plants and animals, and they are essential nutrients for human beings, right? So we can say that natural substances are termed for plants and animals and essential nutrients for human beings, right? So vitamins are very much important in both the ways, right, for the living beings. For example, vitamin D is present in milk, which helps in building our bones. B group vitamins are another example, very good example of vitamins which are present in green leafy vegetables, and that too help our body to make up protein and gives us energy in various forms, right? So students, you might have heard from at least one of your parents saying, don't forget to take your vitamins. Eat your salad, it's packed with vitamins. But what exactly are vitamins that we saw, right? They are one kind of substance that are found in foods that we eat, that we consume, right? So our body needs them to work properly so that we can grow and develop just like we should. So each one has a special role, as we saw, like vitamin D and even B group vitamins, and even vitamin A is present in carrots, which helps us to see at night also. And vitamins are very much essential for us. So let us see some more important things about vitamins, how they carry an importance for our diet, for our health. Yes, vitamins are needed for the normal functioning of our body, and even they help in keeping our eyes, bones, teeth and gums in a very proper and healthy condition. And there are some other vitamins that can be produced by our body, but most of the vitamins must have to be supplied through food. Right? Do you remember, students, we discussed about vitamins, like this name vitamin is obtained from vital amines. That means they are not produced by the body itself, but we have to provide it to our body, right? So human body uses these substances to stay healthy and support its many substances, and that is why our body needs vitamins to stay healthy, right? Because it is not produced by the human body, so it must be obtained from the diet, right? And that is why we have seen that there are total 13 vitamins, each of which has specific function in our body, right? So we discussed about the chart that included the 13 vitamins, 13 vital vitamins which were very important for us. So let us see some of the major types of vitamins and how do they carry an importance and how much they are important for our body. Right, so there are major two types of vitamins, like fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. So let's study about them in some detail. Yes, first is the fat soluble vitamins. So students, what are actually fat soluble vitamins? Yes, when we consume foods that contain fat soluble vitamins, that means the vitamins get stored in our body and specifically in an organ called as liver. Right, and there are some vitamins which are considered as fat soluble vitamins, and they are vitamins A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. So all these vitamins are considered as the fat soluble vitamin. Right, students, fat soluble vitamins wait around in our body fat until our body needs them, and that is why fat soluble vitamins are happy to stay stored in our body for a while, and some stay for a few days and some for up to even 6 months, right? So when it's time for them to be used, there are special carriers in our body which take them to wherever they are needed, and that is why they are termed as fat soluble, because they are stored in our body. Right, for example, our body prepares vitamin D in the presence of sunlight. So we can say that vitamins are prepared. Vitamins cannot be produced by our body, but they are to be supplied through food. And that is why there are some vitamins which are termed as fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E and K. Now let's see another type of vitamin. Yes, there are other type of vitamin called as water soluble vitamins. So what are water soluble vitamins, students? When we eat foods that have water soluble vitamins, that means the vitamins do not get stored in our body. So this is the main difference between the two, that fat soluble gets stored in our body and water soluble does not get stored in the body, right? So there are examples of water soluble vitamins like vitamin C and B group vitamins, right? And they form water soluble vitamins. So students, if they do not get stored in our body, then where do they go? Yes, instead getting stored in the body, they travel through our bloodstream, right? And whatever our body needs or does not use come out when we urinate, right? When you pee, you will see that your body which does not require any more vitamins, that will come out or they will released out in the form of urine, right? So these kind of vitamins, and that is why they are called as water soluble vitamins, right? So these kinds of vitamins need to be replaced by our body because they do not stick around at one place like fat soluble vitamins. Right? they will stick around one place, and that is why we can say that they are stored. But these vitamins, water soluble vitamins, they do not stick around, and that is why they are called as that. It is called that they are not stored in our body. So this crowd of vitamins includes vitamin C and B group vitamins, and also B group vitamins include vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, B6, B9, B12, right? In short, water soluble vitamins are not stored in the body, so they need to be supplied through food, and therefore the lack of vitamins in the body can cause deficiency diseases, right? Now you will think that we studied about the introduction of vitamins. We also saw the types of vitamins. But why vitamins? Why vitamins are important for us? Yes. Students, always remember that our body is a very powerful machine, right? And it is capable of doing all the sorts of things by itself. But when it comes to vitamins, it can use some help. That's where the food comes in. That's where the importance of the components of foods come in that we should consume. Our body is able to get the vitamins it needs from the foods we eat, because different foods contain different vitamins. Some people take a daily vitamin, most of them does not take, most of them don't even need one if they are eating a variety of healthy foods. So students, always remember, always choose or always consume healthy diet, healthy foods, not the junk foods, right? They will give you nothing except diseases, right? Always remember that what to include in our diet and what not to include, right? So we saw this major category of food group that were vitamins, and now we will switch on to the another food group, and that are minerals. Yes. So students, what are minerals? They are the elements that are formed in the soil. They originate in the soil, right? And minerals cannot be created by living things such as plants and animals. So students, did you ever notice how advertisements for breakfast cereals always mention vitamins and minerals together, right? Why? When we think of minerals, food isn't the first thing that comes to mind, right? Aren't minerals something we find in earth like quartz and iron and all? Well, yes, but small amounts of minerals are also found in foods also. For example, red meat, it is a very good source of iron. So just like vitamins, minerals also helps our body to grow, develop and stay healthy. And that is why it is said that plants, animals and humans need minerals in order to stay healthy. And how we will stay healthy now? Because they are not created by plants and animals. Yes, there are some special role made in the environment. Like plants absorb minerals from the soil first because they are formed in the soil, and animals get their minerals from the plants or the animals they eat, and finally then we, the human beings, can consume it, right? So our body uses minerals to perform different kind of function, right? So how will now human beings consume minerals in their diet? Let's see. Yes, many of the minerals in the human diet come from the plants, such as fruits and vegetables, or indirectly from animal sources. Or we can say that our body uses minerals to perform many different functions, like building strong bones, transmitting nerve impulses. It also carry importance for our nervous system and etc. So there are many different functions of minerals. Like they also help in the formation of bones, teeth and blood cells, right? Like red blood cells, white blood cells, right? So students, they are very much important for us. Like some minerals are even used to make hormones to maintain a very normal heartbeat. So we will now see the types of minerals like we saw in vitamins and also in proteins. Here also minerals are of two types. So let's see. Yes, there are two main types of minerals called as macro minerals and trace minerals. So let's study about them in somewhat detail. Yes. So what are macro minerals? Students, the minerals that are needed by our body in large amount are called as macro minerals, and mainly the macro minerals group is made up of calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chlorine and sulfur. As you know that calcium is a mineral which is obtained from dairy products like milk, cheese and yogurt, green leafy vegetables like broccoli, right? So most of the fruits contain some calcium. There are nuts also which contains calcium, beans, and you know very well that without calcium our muscles cannot work properly. In the same way, all other minerals play one or the other important role in our body. So this is very much essential. Now let's see the other type of minerals. Yes, there are other type of minerals known as trace minerals. So what is actually meant by trace minerals, children? The minerals that are needed by our body in very less amount. This is the main difference between the macro one and the trace minerals. Means trace means small and macro means large. The minerals that are required by our body in large amount are termed as macro, and the minerals that are needed by our body or required by our body in less amount are called trace minerals. So mainly the trace minerals group includes copper, iodine, zinc, manganese, cobalt and fluorine, right? So as you know that iodine is present in fruits, vegetables and even nuts and proteinaceous food, also the leguminous food. It helps to regulate the rate of energy production and body weight, and as you know that iodine is added to table salt also, right? We commonly say it as common salt, right? As you know that it is very much helpful for maintaining proper growth and also keeps our nails, skin and teeth healthy. So this is one such description of iodine which we discussed right now. In the same way, all other trace minerals also carry importance, like they are very much essential for our body in one or the other way, right? So students, in this session we discussed about the three major food groups, and I hope you are clear with this, right? So we will continue this lesson in the next session with other food groups. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying and take care of your health.